Do do do. Hmm. Huh? Oh, hey, how you been? That's kind of surprised to see you. I mean, figured you were, busy or whatever. I won't complain. Um, so what brings you by? Huh? Something's on your mind? Well, I can try to alleviate that, but I don't know how much help I'll be. Uh, you wanna take a seat? Well, I'm surprised you're up at this late at night. Figured, be sleeping or I don't know, getting ready for bed. I mean, for me, it's natural, vampire. But for you, not so natural. I figured you guys, like to be awake during the day and asleep during the night. Hmm? What's it like being a vampire? I mean, there's benefits and, you know, negatives. I mean, big negative is I can never go to the beach. Can't get my tan on. Unless I want to tan in front of the moon. Um, there's not a lot of people to talk to, I guess, at night. I mean, there's other vampires, but you know what I mean. Just other normal people like you. People that aren't extra natural or supernatural or extra special or whatever phrase I like to use for it nowadays. Just regular people. I can't talk to them very much as most of them are asleep. I have to drink blood and regular food doesn't sustain me. Um, I mean that's kind of it. I mean, yeah, you become stronger and faster, but I mean, if you wanted that, you can just not become a vampire. There's other ways. Hmm. And that brings you to your next question. Well, yeah, I guess we have been best friends for many years. I mean, I've been friends with you since you were tiny. Granted, I'm much, much older than you. I'd say I'm around 500 years. I mean, I still remember when cars were first invented. That was crazy. And the internet? Wow. Technology really has changed a lot, I have to say, just in the last 100 years alone. Oh, right, sorry, way off topic. But yeah, we have been best friends for the majority of your life. Hmm? You want me to do you a favor? Hmm. What is it? Huh? That's not what I was expecting. You want to be a vampire? Uh, I mean, I could turn you if you really wanted that, but why would you want that? You're great the way you are. I mean, I guess it'd be cool to have you around for eternity, but be aware, being a vampire isn't very fun. It may look like it's fun, but it's not as fun as you think. I can promise you that. Are you really sure you want this? I mean, after I do it, there's no turning back. You're stuck. The only way to, be opt out of that life is death. You have to be aware, turning into a vampire is not as easy as flipping a switch. It's more like jumping down a canyon never to return. On top of that, it awakens your primal urges, meaning your baseline instincts would take over. For me, that wasn't a big problem as I didn't really wish any harm towards anyone or have any negative emotions towards anybody, but you. Here, sit down. Let me tell you a story of how I got turned. Back when people were still using swords and bows as weapons. And the biggest problem was the bubonic plague. Alright? So take a seat. And I'll explain my process. You see, when I was a young lad, the great battle was to ensue. England had taken over a majority of the continent, and, well, the United States was going to become a thing. Well, was going to. They weren't united yet, but they were about to go to the mainland and form their own colonies. Around that time, I got really, really sick. Like rotting kind of sick. And I was quarantined away along with tons of other people. Vampires around that time were hunted down and nearly killed at every opportunity. At least any opportunity anyone else had, and I held those same values. Well, when I got sick, I was desperate. I didn't want to die. I had so much stuff to do with my life. I didn't want that to be the end. Well, luckily, a vampire was in the area, although they didn't have the best intentions for me. Their original intention was to keep me alive so they can feed on me and not have to worry about hunting. Well, after they took me to their home and started feeding on me, they took a bit too much, and in my panic I bit them, ripping out part of their neck. It didn't really hurt them, but inadvertently I'd swallowed a lot of their blood. And, well, do you know what happens when you drink a vampire's blood being near death? That's right, you turn. But it's excruciatingly painful that way. Your body rips itself apart during the change, your cells being ripped and reborn again and again and again, killed and remade, having your entire body rip itself to shreds during the change. It's extremely agonizing and painful. I didn't know what I was until a couple days after when, well, I had wanted to go talk with a friend and they seemed different in my eyes. Before I'd hang out with them, we'd laugh, but now I was hungry and I ate everything I could get my hands on, but nothing satiated my hunger. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I thought I'd just been cured and that was that, but more and more changes started to happen. My hair turned silver, my eyes blood red, and my skin turned a couple shades darker. Now I'm tan. But the biggest change was in my food habits. Humans seemed almost like a snack, and I barely managed to wrap myself off of them. I had to apologize profusely as I almost bit into their neck, ran off into the night. I barely managed to escape. Hunters were on my trail. My friend was terrified of me, and no one would help me. So, I jumped on a boat and sailed to America. Kinda crazy to think, right? Yeah, I actually got to meet the founding fathers. They were not as nice as history portrays them. Actually, they were really, really mean and rude and actually really horrible people. But hey, at the very least, America exists now. And that's a funny story, ain't it? Did I ever mean the king? No. I was never that important, but since, America back then was a very small colony, it made sense why I would meet the founding fathers. Of course, vampire hunters followed me here, to America, but luckily I was smart enough to evade them. Plus, attacking people out in the street was very much not welcomed, especially with uprising colonies, so I had sort of protection. In any sort of way, though, I guess that leads to now. And that's my little story. I don't know if it'll be agonizing for you. Every experience is different when you're being turned. Are you really sure about that? I really need to ask you. Hundreds of years go by in the blink of an eye when you're a vampire. Friends die, loved ones die, but you're still here. Are you sure you want this? Okay. Well, prepare yourself. You'll rock